Let me start with a question. Have you ever felt like you were on the brink of something great, maybe a dream, a purpose, a goal, but somehow everything kept falling apart? No matter how hard you tried, no matter how much effort you put in, it felt like something or someone was constantly pulling you backward. What if I told you that toxic relationships could be the very tool the enemy is using to keep you stuck, delayed, or completely off track from your destiny? You see, one of the most dangerous weapons the enemy uses is not always sickness, financial struggles, or even external battles. It's relationships. Because relationships have the power to shape your mindset, influence your decision, and either propel you into your destiny or pull you deep into destruction that you lose sight of who you were meant to be. The first thing you need to understand is this: the enemy understands relationships better than most people do. Look at Adam and Eve. Satan didn't attack Adam alone, he used Eve. He inserted himself into their relationship and caused a break in their connection with God. He knew that if he could corrupt the relationship, he could corrupt their destiny. And guess what? The same strategy is being used today. There are people in your life right now, friends, romantic partners, even family members, who are not just distractions. They are assignments sent to delay or destroy what God has planned for you. Ever noticed how certain relationships pull you away from prayer? How some people always bring drama, confusion, and chaos, making it impossible for you to focus? That's not just a coincidence, that's a strategy. The enemy is using toxic connections to drain your energy so that you don't have the strength to pursue your destiny. Listen, some delays in life are not because of lack of effort or because God is slow. It's because we are tied to people who are not meant to go where God is taking us. The enemy will keep you in cycles of toxic friendships, draining relationships, and unhealthy connections because he knows that this is one of the most valuable assets you have. Think about Samson, a man anointed with supernatural strength, chosen by God. But what happened? A toxic relationship with Delilah led him straight into captivity. The enemy didn't send an army to destroy Samson. He sent one woman who had access to his heart and influence over his emotions. How many of us are wasting years in the wrong relationship, crying over people God already told us to walk away from? How many destinies are being delayed because we refuse to let go of what's keeping us bound? You see, one of the greatest tragedies is not just delay, it's distraction. If the enemy can't completely stop you, he will send people to wear you out. People who constantly bring negativity into your life. People who keep you second guessing yourself. People who manipulate, gaslight, and drain you emotionally. People who tempt you into sin and compromise. You cannot walk in purpose when you are entangled with people who don't align with it. Some of you are holding on to relationships that have already expired because of fear. Fear of being alone, fear of what people will say, fear of starting over. But hear me, the cost of staying is greater than the pain of leaving. If you don't disconnect, you risk losing what God has placed inside you. Now, let me ask you, do you know how to recognize a toxic relationship? Because sometimes the enemy won't send obvious enemies, he'll send people who look like friends. How do you know when a relationship is unhealthy? Here are some signs. It pulls you away from God instead of drawing you closer. It constantly drains you instead of building you. It causes confusion instead of clarity. It makes you compromise your values. It keeps you stuck in the same cycles with no progress. If you recognize the signs in a relationship, it's time to take action. Don't wait for a disaster before you let go. Sometimes we stay in toxic relationships hoping things will change, but the truth is, not everyone is meant to go where God is taking you. Just like Abraham had to separate from Lot before stepping into his full promise, you may need to separate from some people to fully step into yours. Here is the good news: God never removes without replacing. When you let go of the wrong people, God brings the right ones. People who will push you towards purpose, not pull you into pain. People who will encourage you in faith and not lead you into fear. People who will challenge you to grow, not manipulate you into staying small. But you have to be willing to trust God enough to let go of what is hurting you. So here is my challenge for you. Take inventory of your relationships. Who in your life is fueling your fire and who is putting it out? Who is pushing you towards your destiny and who is pulling you away from it? The enemy's greatest fear is a person working in their full God given purpose. That's why he fights so hard in the area of relationships, because he knows the power of alignment. Today, make the decision to break free from anything and anyone the enemy has been using to delay or destroy your destiny. Your purpose is too great, your calling is too important, and your time is too valuable to waste on the wrong people. God is calling you higher. Will you answer? Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.